This video will go over the questions to the interview walking through the valley. Number 1. Norton decided to join the military because he wanted to fill his resume to become a cop. He also wanted a physical and mental challenge. Fusca's reasons for joining the military were that he wanted to see the world and he wanted to do something exciting. Number 2. In what ways was Kandahar different from Kabul? And I believe, and this might be a question for Corporal Dumont, but he was in Kabul. And the interview describes Kandahar as being much more intense. In Kandahar, there were fighter planes, more noise, more dust. There was full-on conflict, which included bombs and a lot of chaos. So the soldiers described the adrenaline rush as extreme after their first experience on patrol. So extreme that both of these men felt the need to go again. Trevor Norton noted that this is not a healthy way to be thinking. So according to both of these men, they claim that 2/3 of Afghanistan is leaving in peace and that their tour was worthwhile. They believe that making Afghanistan a better place makes Canadians safer. So to comment on the idea of battle being a glorious thing, and we've talked about this previously, but often soldiers are glorified as being brave for fighting for our countries, which they are, and sometimes dying during battle. But the fighting itself is not glorious or heroic in any way. It's what these two men note. So although one's actions in war may be heroic, the battle itself isn't something to be glorified. So when I ask you about the term game face and putting on your game face, many of you maybe thought automatically about sports and whether you had a coach tell you to put your game face on or you told yourself that. It can be applied here as well. It basically means that you focus on the task at hand. You avoid any distractions around you. You look at what the end goal is and you do your best to get there and achieve it. Number 3, so this should say, why do you think patriotism or love of his country is the biggest motivator here? I would be guessing that patriotism, love of the country, for most soldiers would be the main reason why they join the forces. So even when the job is difficult or demanding, missing your family, eating and sleeping poorly, that patriotism and love for your country is what is going to get most soldiers through. So being tied down, this is the desire to hear about normal life, to hear about any happenings that are going on at home that don't relate to war. Missing family, friends, and home can be very unsettling for soldiers. And speaking to their relatives and being tied down is basically the only connection of normalcy that these soldiers have. And what they say is quite often when they speak to their relatives, the last thing that they want to talk about is their surroundings and what's going on around them.